everyone, this is Shelley at the Healthy Life Choice channel, and today I'm going to show you how to make kefir milk, or some people might know it as kefir or kefir. So for those of you who don't know what kefir is, it originated in the Caucasus Mountains and people drank it because it gave them a lot of health benefits. So it's a cultured milk product that is somewhat like yogurt but has a lot more benefits than yogurt because it has a lot more bacterial strains that are going to help colonize your stomach and help your digestive processes. It helps with things like your immune system, with weight management, and just your digestive system in general. So if you want more information on kefir and other fermented products and why they're good for you, visit my blog, The Healthy Life Choice, and have a look at the fermented food sections under Food for Life. So we're going to make kefir using kefir grains today. There's a couple of different ways you can make it, but I prefer kefir grains to a starter powder or culture.
Okay, so let's have a look at what kefir grains actually look like. So they're called grains because of their grain-like appearance, not because they've got any wheat or anything like that in it. And if you have a look, they look like tiny little clumps of cauliflower. So these have been sitting in milk in my fridge, so I've just taken them out of the milk and given them a little bit of a rinse in fresh milk so that you can actually see what they look like. But when you're using them, you don't need to rinse them between uses. So yeah, that's what kefir grains look like.
So making kefir is actually pretty simple. So there's a few things that you need to know. Try and use food grade plastic or wooden utensils where possible. If you absolutely have to use metal utensils, make sure that they're stainless steel. This is because other metals will actually react with the kefir and they will eventually destroy your grains. So kefir grains can be reused over and over and over again so that you can have a continual supply of kefir yogurt. And as you use them, if you keep them healthy, they'll also grow. So eventually you'll have too many kefir grains and you'll be able to give them away to friends and they can start making kefir as well. Okay, so you'll need a wooden or plastic spoon or spatula, a plastic strainer, and a bowl to put your kefir in when it's already made. So I'll show you some that's already been brewing for a day or so. So all you need to do is take a jar, and I don't use any special jars. These are just jars that I've got from the op shop for 10 cents each, or jars that I've saved from food that we've had. So, you know, tomato sauce jars, coffee jars as an example, you know, jam jars, there's all sorts of jars you can use. The one thing you do have to be careful of is to make sure that they are thoroughly washed. So I always wash mine out in the dishwasher and then give them a good rinse in fresh water to make sure that there's no residue on from the dishwashing detergent. Also, if you want to make sure they're completely sterilised, you can wash them in white vinegar. Again, if you wash them in white vinegar, make sure that you've rinsed them thoroughly because vinegar will also kill your grains and you don't want to do that. So take one of your clean glasses and you can just spoon the kefir grains into the glass jar. So there they go, really easy. So that's about a tablespoon of kefir grains. So that makes about 1 to 2 cups, I find, of kefir, and you might have to play around with the quantities to see what works for you. So in a jar that size, I'll fill that about halfway with fresh milk. Now, when you choose your milk, choose whole or full cream milk. If you can get raw organic milk, that's fantastic. In Australia, it's actually illegal to sell raw milk for drinking, but of course if you have your own cow or goat, then that's fine. So, you know, you can milk it yourself. But, you know, pasteurized milk from the supermarket works fine. I haven't had any problems with it. Use full cream, don't use light or skim milk. So once you've filled your milk or your jar with the grains and the milk, then you just need to cover it with a cloth. Don't put the lid back in. It needs to aerate just a little bit. This is just cheesecloth that I've doubled over. You can use, any cloth that's breathable, a towel, even a chucks. Obviously make sure they're, or a dishwashing cloth, but obviously make sure that they're clean and not used. So you simply pop that on and put that aside in a nice area that's not in direct sunlight and not too hot. It just needs to sit at room temperature, and it'll sit at room temperature for anywhere from 12 to 48 hours depending on what how hot it is. So it's best if it's between sort of 18 to 26 degrees Celsius or 60 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll show you what the kefir looks like after it's been sitting for a while. So this kefir here has been sitting for approximately 24 hours. So we'll take the top off it. If you give it have a smell of it, it will smell a little bit sour. I guess similar to a really tart or tangy Greek yogurt. So this is now where we take our plastic strainer and just pour, put it over a glass bowl and just pour the kefir out of the jar into the bowl. Okay, there we go. Now what we need to do is just shake the kefir through. So if we just strain the kefir through the strainer, you can see it's going into the bowl. It's nice and creamy. Now it might take you a few goes of making some kefir till you find the taste that you like. Some people like it quite sour, some people like it quite smooth and creamy without too much of a sour taste. If you find that it does get a little bit sour for your liking, once you've removed the grains, you can actually flavour the kefir milk, and I particularly like flavouring it with honey and a few drops of vanilla. Now if you look at that, you can see the kefir grains sitting there in the sieve. It's almost strained through now. Okay, we'll just get the last bit of kefir through that strainer. Okay, now we're left with about another tablespoon of kefir grains. And these will multiply, so probably in about a week of doing this, you'll end up with 2 tablespoons of kefir grains. Okay, so we'll get another clean glass jar. Now, just spoon these kefir grains into the jar. There we go. Now, another thing you can do if your kefir is starting to get sour, and it may separate into curds and whey, so you get a big thick creamy mass on top and then it'll be a cloudy liquid underneath, which is the whey. You can always make kefir cheese from it, which is what I do when I over ferment the kefir a little bit, and we'll show you how to make kefir cheese in another episode. Okay, pop that in the sink. We'll fill this jar with some milk. And there we go, we've got another batch of kefir brewing. So the temperature that it is at the moment here, which is about 20 degrees Celsius, it's taking me about 24 hours to brew my kefir. So if it's hotter, it'll be a lot quicker, and if it's colder, it could be up to 48 hours. But don't leave your kefir to ferment for more than 48 hours. Okay, so once you've strained your kefir, you can take a clean bottle, simply pour the kefir into the bottle. Creamy. That's only a small amount there, but you can collect it each day. But the way my husband drinks it, that will be gone by tonight anyway. That just pops in the fridge. Now, if it's quite tangy, one more thing you can do is leave it out for a second ferment. In that case, you pour it back into the jar without the kefir grains in it and leave it maybe for another 12 hours, and that should mellow the flavour. Okay, another way you can make kefir if you don't have enough kefir grains is to actually take some kefir that you've already made, and you call that the mother culture, and you can actually add fresh milk to that and ferment it again. So this is some kefir I made yesterday, and then yesterday afternoon I poured some more milk in.
So here's the kefir. Now that's nice drinkable yogurt texture. So kefir will generally not go as thick as eating yogurt, but it will be a nice thick drinking yogurt texture. It's actually quite a bit thicker on the bottom there. So that's another way that you can increase your kefir production when you don't have a lot of grains.
Okay, so that's the basics of making kefir. It's pretty simple. There are a few tips and tricks to make it a little bit easier for you. So if you click on the link below, if you're on YouTube, and go to my blog, you'll be able to see what those are, and you'll see the step-by-step instructions for making kefir. If you are watching this on my blog, well, you're already there, so you'll see those instructions. So until next time, and we're going to make kefir cheese next time, have a great day.